Welcome, and welcome back, everybody, to the OK Grognard Show. Today is Wednesday, November 5th, 2025, 10 a.m. Central, in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And today, we're looking at a little thing called, well, you know what we're doing? We're doing a campaign update. We're checking out our 1E AD&D Grymvald Campaign at 330 Center Street, which has been a privilege. If you've not been on a tour during one of the festivals like Dragon Days or EGG Con or Gary Con, those are the times when you can most readily catch a tour of the location of the birthplace of Dungeons & Dragons at 330 Center Street in beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. It is a treat to see the place where Gary pounded away on the typewriter to put the proto-RPG that had already been in effect with Dave Arneson and codified it into what became the Dungeons & Dragons rules. And it is quite the thing. Vince himself in the chat, he's part of the campaign. That's him in the picture holding up WizKids Tower, which we use, by the way, for to represent a tower in the campaign. Vince is a druid who is a descendant 500 years later from a druid who had used a wish to allow her to attempt to become a lich, and she was successful, and that was actually the focus. And, you know, players decide where they're going to go in my campaign. So if they go one way, they go one way. If they go another way, then it's a different campaign, and that's fine. And it just happened to work out that this was an old campaign from years ago that had become resolved, but then they were snooping around out on the moors, and with a draw of a deck of many things that allowed for Vince's character, Amos Havoc, the druid, to own a stronghold. Just had to go clear it out, and it's all yours. And that was the nearest, the northernmost Dragon Tooth. Out on the moors was the nearest available type place like that. And so, since that had once been the home of a druid who had become a lich 500 years earlier and in a previous campaign, it just made sense that why would you suddenly own this? It had to make sense in my campaign for me. Why would you suddenly own this stronghold? Well, you're also a druid. I guess it could have sat there unclaimed for so long. There's a lot of nasty things out in the moors. There's no great reason for most people to go out there. So maybe it's just possible that it's just sat there. So yeah, here you go. Here's the deed. Yes, the only living descendant of this other druid. So that became just a serendipity. And now it's become this whole thing because Vince's character, along with 4 or 5 others, and an NPC, a handful of NPCs. They have hirelings and henchmen. They've got this whole, they're in the 7th, 8th, 9th level range. I think they're all 8th and 9th now. And they have gathered up a couple of hundred people that are building a village now around this tower. But they've discovered there are other things to consider. And that includes making sure that the kingdom is compensated for them owning a place that's right smack dab in the middle of the kingdom. Well, it's underused land. It doesn't mean it doesn't belong to someone. And the king and a local baron and another lord are all near enough to stake a claim, to take the little off the top, to get their proverbial beaks wet at the trough of these adventurers who have now saddled themselves with a stronghold. They want to take over. There's 7 of these dragon's teeth, which have been part of the campaign world for decades in real life, in meat space. And they want to take over more than one of them, too. They want to lay claim to the whole series of them. And, you know, bless their little hearts, as they say, down in South Carolina, where my pop lives most of the time. Bless their little hearts. And I wish them well. I can only say, take your actions. I'll roll some dice if I need to, and I'll tell you the consequences, and then we'll rinse and repeat, because that's how the sandbox runs. That's the whole game in a nutshell. You state your actions, we'll figure out the consequences. You'll state more actions, we'll just keep going like that over and over and over. And eventually you'll win D&D, and it's advance. So there's good old Shane, not making the heavy metal horns this time, which is almost unheard of. And Vince there, and there's Cera down the end. She's a little tired from a hard day's work she had to do today. Stephanie and her daughter Alex, and Daniel not pictured, but he'll be back. He's got some other things that are taking him away from the campaign for the time being. So we're at that core 5, and they're doing all right. They've advanced a couple of levels since playing this campaign over the last couple of years, and they should be very happy with how they're doing. And there we are at 330 Center Street, thanks to Yolanda for being so kind as to allow us to use the space every now and then over the course of this campaign over the summer. And we'll be winding it up for the year pretty soon and taking our winter hiatus. So hopefully they'll all live. We'll see. Maybe there'll be some cliffhangers. Maybe there'll be some excitement that will carry over into the spring when we reconvene after GaryCon. And we'll see how that goes. Anything you want to add there, Vince? While we're on the subject. Oop, there's me too. Got to have me in there, right? All sorts of cool artifacts at 330 Center Street, without a doubt. Without a doubt. Well, I guess that's just a quick update. We know what's going on. I figure I'll just wrap it up. I want to thank everybody. Thank you, Vince, for dropping in, and thanks to everyone who is part of the campaign and everyone who's got any interest in following it. It's appreciated. Vince says, last night was a blast, as per usual. Can't wait to see what unfolds. Thanks, buddy. Hey, and you know what, Vince? I should tell you and let everybody else know, too, that Lake Geneva Games has new T-shirts in stock. They're a kind of hunter green, or a dark green. They look really good. I got one myself. I'd show it to you, but I use a green screen, so you wouldn't be able to see it anyway. But get them while they're hot. Get in there and pick one up while the sizes are available, because, you know, as with any T-shirt order, certain sizes will go faster than others, and before you know it, we'll have 2 smalls and a 5XL left, and we'll be trying to figure out at what point we should order Order some more. Yeah. Yeah, your fiance needs one. You need one too, buddy. You just need to get in there and pick them up. But you should also know what else? What else? What else? Oh yeah. I should say too. Congrats to Vince for they moved this last weekend. I was glad he was still able to play. I'm very happy for you having a new space over there in Burlington, and I think it's absolutely wonderful. So my best to your Alex, and kiss the baby for me, and thank you to everyone who's watching the show. It's very much appreciated, because that was update on our 1E AD&D Grymvald campaign at 330 Center Street. Don't forget the show streams live on Twitch each Wednesday at 10 a.m. Central, and then it's archived on YouTube. Like, subscribe, follow, do all of that fun stuff. It'd be appreciated. And support the channel. Support it on Patreon, if you would. It would be very much appreciated, even at the free level. And join such illustrious followers and supporters as Tom Tullis of Fat Dragon Games, Carlos Lysing of Castle Entertainment, Heath Farndon of the end of D&D 20, Dave O'Brien, unauthorized user Deathangel's Shadow, Heidi and Eric Gygax Garland of Gexland, Vince Ragusa of the Maroon Room, excellent prog rock band, Daniel Caldwell of Griffin and Gargoyle, Martin Thomas of Daddy Rolled the One, a fantastic YouTube channel, Christian Garcia, Stephanie Lesniewski-Gruchow, Cera Toppilopkus, Colin Szablewski, and as always, DM Extraordinaire Shane Bradley. This has been the OK Grognard Show from beautiful Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. Thank you, and bye-bye.